Of Public Policy at Hamad bin Khalifa University here in Qatar. Sultan, thanks for being with us. When we look at the sort of back and forth that we're getting and how difficult it is to tell what is actually going on, are we just all of a sudden privy to the bluffs and the bargains and sort of the backroom back and forth that we don't normally see? Or what is your estimation of what's happening here with these talks?
Well, what's going on is a clear illustration of the fact that there is no real goodwill to de-escalate and bring this to an end. On all sides, particularly I think on the American side at the moment and the Israelis. Let's start with Israel first. I mean, Israel's incursions into Lebanon is a very good example of how the Israelis thrive on escalation and confrontation, and this is their way to really extract as much as possible support from the United States, both in terms of weapons, cash, and so on. They could have taken a posture like the Gulf states did towards the missiles coming from Iran, i.e. defend, and maybe in the case of Israel, they may be justified to do some proportionate retaliation. Mm-hmm. What they've done instead is that they went to a major Arab capital with the sort of force they've applied in Gaza, the destruction that they've applied there, more than 1,000 people killed, etc. They totally undermine the capacity of the Lebanese government to have any legitimacy in the south. And they are working the ways to justify their way to occupy all the way up to the Litani River. Now, for Lebanese who live in that part of the world, they know that this is the agenda of Israel for the last few decades, since 1982. So now they're taking this as an opportunity to really implement a plan that has been long in the making. And in the last few months, we've heard some rumors about this plan, Greater Israel and so on. When you look at the United States, the United States should know better because they've been in negotiations with the Iranians for more than a decade. So they understand the way the Iranians think and the pride they enjoy. Mm-hmm. And they're falling into this trap of trying to ridicule them. And I think that's really dangerous thing in negotiations. The statements put out by Trump does not really help the other side, again, gain legitimacy or even to take him seriously on this.
And just as you say, it goes to goodwill also. It goes to showing
it demonstrates that there is no real goodwill. And if these are serious negotiations, the last thing you want to do is to keep tweeting about it or put on social media, manipulating the market, etc. You have to take it to the seriousness it deserves because there are some real people at the end of this who are paying the price for this war. And I think that must make the Iranians think, who are we dealing with? And it really would probably lead them to brushing aside all these attempts and focusing much more on their strategic objectives, which are now in their own mind linked to their own survival. And particularly when they hear things coming from the Israeli Prime Minister, is no longer talking about them being a Muslim radical group.
Right.
He has a 2,500-year history of conflict with them that goes way beyond the contemporary issues. So you can understand to some extent why they will take that entrenched position from the talks.
And so, Sultan, quickly, with all of these moving parts that you've just laid out for us, this is now a much more difficult deal to come to than it would have been, say, 4 weeks ago, is it not?
Of course. I mean, the initial step of this deal is that the U.S. and Israel should stop attacking Iran. And that will show them that they are serious, or give them a day or two of a one-sided ceasefire because the attack is coming from them rather than the other way around at the moment.
Right.
But until that takes place, I think it will be very difficult to justify for the Iranian government to justify their position for any talks in front of their own public.
Sultan BARAKAT, it's always good to have you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.